Hey, good Saturday morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thought it'd be a great time for a Saturday morning update on this storm system for you. How does that sound? And looks like the storm, for the most part, is on track of what we've been talking about the last couple of days. Just a couple of small minor tweakings that really won't change much. Okay, the storm is slightly farther south. By slightly, I mean maybe about at most 20 miles further south, maybe about 10 miles further to south. Hey, good morning, Christy Barber and Melanie Fritz. Thanks for watching this morning. Hey, reports. Do you have reports of what's going on? Let us know in your location. Gene Ross, good morning, and Kimberly Zesmer. All right, so let's get to it. The forecast is mostly on track, just minor subtleties, just basically finding something to do today. All right, here we go. So this is where the warnings are in effect. We still have the ice storm warning in effect for the darker purple shaded areas. So that's continuing. Ice storm warning, by the way, is issued when ice accumulations could be over a half inch of ice. So then you go to the west and you'll of the ice storm warning and you'll have ice accumulations. Why not an ice storm warning? Expected to be less than a half inch, quarter to maybe a half inch in those places. So not the criteria. So that's a winter storm warning, snow, sleet, freezing rain. And then north of that, a winter weather advisory. And south of it, a flood warning in effect. We're getting some reports of almost 2 inches of rain in southern parts of Michigan. I will show that to you in just a moment here. Where is the freezing rain? My reports are showing that in Montcalm County, so the freezing rain is starting to creep southward, and it's into Montcalm County. And I just noticed that Saginaw Bay City Midland Airport, we call it MBS in our neck of the woods, has just started to report in the last half hour. They've started to report freezing rain, snow, and what's called grapple. Hey, that's your word for the day, grapple. Graupel. It's tiny little snowballs. They bounce. It looks like miniature little snowballs falling. Hey, good morning, Clark Hughes and Stacy Altz. Ooh, Allison, 67 in Kentucky. Yeah, warm temperatures not that far away. So here's your radar this morning. You see the conveyor belt of moisture that continues to head this way. And it continues to show that the southeast half of lower Michigan is targeted for the heaviest amounts of precipitation. Merritt, thank you for the report. Downtown GR has been just rain since last night. Yes. And now we go to probably the most important graphic we can look at right now, and that is the current temperatures. So there you see where the freezing line is. Almost now Saginaw actually at MBS reporting 32 degrees. Hey, good morning, Frankenmuth Mayor Marianne Ackerman. See, we even get bigwigs here on the morning weather stream here at MLive. Let's see. Okay, so freezing rain in Ionia County. Danielle Kuzman, thank you for that report. So there you can see it too. So in northern Kent County, the freezing rain is probably starting because that colder air is seeping southward. But look at the southern section. Still at this time, temperatures in the 50s. Yes, I've heard a lot of people call it corn snow. I had never heard that term until I started talking about grapple. And then people said, oh, you mean corn snow? Yeah, so that is kind of the vernacular too. Hey, here's a great graphic that I thought the Weather Service from Grand Rapids did a great job on kind of summarizing everything. On the left, the snowfall forecast. Okay, total snowfall forecast. And it's still heaviest in the spots that we've been looking at, the northwest part of, let me do this, okay, northwest part of lower Michigan, although I think it has shifted south a little bit, and I will show that to you here in just a moment. And then you can see, so there you see that the yellow is, yellow is over 6 inches of snow. So it's still what I would call a 7 to 11 or 6 to 10 inch snow in northern Michigan. Then here you can see the area of biggest concern on the freezing rain. That's still in the same sections it has been. Kalamazoo to Lansing to Flint, into the Thumb, towards Saginaw. Weston MJ, thank you for the report. Temperature where, tell us, has dropped from 46 to 33 in the last 3 hours. And then you can see where the sleet is predicted to be. And that sleet is predicted to be heaviest in the Saginaw Bay City Midland area. Now, my friends in Saginaw Bay City and Midland, this might help you a little bit, because if you can get to sleet quicker, then you avoid the freezing rain accumulation. Sleet will stick on trees and power lines, but not as easily as freezing rain will. Dan Dean, how much ice for Flint? There you can see it right there. Looking at Flint, of course, that I-69 stretch, that trajectory along I-69 always seems to be the zone for freezing rain. And you're looking at probably a ½ inch, and you might even have 3/4 of an inch of accumulation. One note I did want to bring up here is there may be a couple of pleasant surprises in the storm. First is the roads might stay warm for an hour or two after it hits 32 degrees, because we've been 40 and 50 degrees. Still be very careful. I don't want you to let your guard down, but I just want you to know that that is a possibility. All right, let's get into the models and show you what is going on the models. We're looking at the European today because that seems to be the one that's working the best so far. Okay. And so here we go. And really, no major changes. All right, so Steve Sharp says roads are bad in Midland. Okay, thank you for that report. What is it in Midland? Is it just a thin glaze, or do you have an accumulation so far? Let's see. Okay, so we are at, let's go to noon. Okay, so you're freezing rain by noon in Lansing. You're freezing rain in Grand Rapids by noon. You're freezing rain in Saginaw and Bay City and Midland. Flint, close in Flint. Now let's go to, let's see, we are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon there. And there could be somewhat of a lull in this in the afternoon, late afternoon, evening. Not so much of a lull that I would say get out and roam around, but that again would be one of those pleasant surprises. Okay, so here we go into this evening. We are at 7 o'clock right there. The pink, that shows you where the sleet and freezing rain is. And notice the batch of snow developing off to the west. That's the snow that will come across the area tonight, and that's the subtle difference. With it being about 10 to 20 miles farther south, the heavier snow will be about 10 to 20 miles farther south. So when we were talking about a heavy snow line, 6 inches plus, from about Ludington to Clare to, say, Tawas, now shift that south and bring that 6-inch line into maybe Mount Pleasant, maybe Montcalm County, maybe Muskegon. And what it also does is it takes that zone and, say, for the Tri-Cities and for Grand Rapids, it turns you to sleet quicker. And that lessens the amount of freezing rain. But then on the south side of it, where we thought maybe Oakland County wouldn't get into the freezing rain, now you might get into a good chunk of Oakland County, except the southern part might get into the freezing rain. How are roads today in Ann Arbor and Detroit tonight? Ann Arbor to Detroit should be pretty good until late tonight. We're looking at 7 o'clock tonight. And now we're looking at, let's see, we are looking at midnight tonight. Okay, now the colder air is starting to push into the southeast. That's where the freezing rain is. That's where the sleet. That's where there could be a burst of accumulation in the middle of the night. So this is a really kind of a long drug out type thing. Lighter amounts today and then heavier amounts overnight tonight. And there's your backlash of snow behind it, coming into Grand Rapids, coming into Big Rapids, into Alma and Clare. Looking at Detroit at 1 in the morning, you're still probably rain, but you're getting close to freezing rain. And there we're at 2 in the morning, and that freezing rain is heading into the Thumb, Saginaw, and the rest of lower Michigan has changed over to snow. We're going to get to some places like Mount Pleasant, Sarah Barnard. You're going to have, you're not going to have a whole lot of ice accumulation. You're probably 1/10 to 2/10 of ice, 1 inch of sleet, and Mount Pleasant now is probably 3 to 6 inches, solid 3, if not 4 to 5 to 6 inches of snow. Light glaze of ice on the ground in Mount Pleasant. Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. And I'm sorry. AJ Rudis, best time to travel tomorrow, Chicago to Brighton. Okay, we're going to get into that because the storm's pulling out. So we are at 5 in the morning here. Snowing in the Thumb down to Flint, some flurries in the Detroit area, maybe Ann Arbor, northeast, still getting the heavy snow. And then we're at 7 in the morning, and it's pretty well done. And notice these black, little squiggly black lines. That's the wind. So when we go back to here, we're windy today. When we go to tomorrow morning, look how quickly the wind dies down. So if you've got power, you're going to have a beautiful Sunday morning because your winds are going to die down and the sun will start to come out. How much snow for Jackson? Not much. Maybe an inch or two the way it looks now. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to ice accumulation. Here we go. This is off the European model. It's come down a little bit. I like this placement. I like these amounts. I like this placement finally. And this speaks to how we can't look 5 and 7 days out and just show you raw output from the models because they usually tend to overdo it. It's a term that's been called meteorological cancer. As the storm forecast goes out, it gets kind of overblown. So here we are. This is accumulations, and that shows you the 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch area. Laura Birch, best time to travel tomorrow, Canton to Mount Pleasant. You know, the storm's going to end early. If you can give them 6 hours to clear off the roads, I think you're going to probably be okay. Hey, good morning, Lori Habel from Charlevoix. Thank you very much. Kelly Dove, Muskegon. Okay, Muskegon, you are probably 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation, 1 inch of sleet, and you're probably 3 to 5 inches of snow now. So there you see where the ice is. The ice is a problem most in Kalamazoo, Lansing, Flint, and the Thumb, and either side of that about 20 miles. Okay, now since the storm has shifted farther to the south by about 10 to 20 miles, the snow just a little farther to the south too. Susan Smith, how much for Bridgeport? Bridgeport, you are probably 1/4 of an inch of ice, plus or minus 1/10 of an inch, 1 to maybe 2 inches of sleet overnight, and 2 or 3 inches of snow. So here's the total snowfall off the European model. I like it. I like the way this looks. This should be accurate. And notice how it's come down. Notice, you know, Pat Human's forecasters on the back. We can still take the models and beat them a little bit. So you still need us, okay? Jackson to Kalamazoo travel on I-94 Sunday. Best time, please. Morgan Potter. Remember, the storm is going to be over by sunrise. at least in that stretch there. Give them 3 to 6 hours to salt and plow, and I think you're going to be okay. All right. Ice in Jackson tonight from 5 to 11, Joe Hopper. Yeah, is getting into there. Yes, definitely. Best time tomorrow to travel from my house to VG's grocery store and back. There you go. Well, if it's close, you should be fine because, again, the storm ending pretty early. So, how much snow? So let's take Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids, you look like you get back into the snow more so in this storm system. I would say 3 to 5 inches in Grand Rapids, and the 3 is going to be easy. The 5 may not be real hard to do either. Let's see. Bethany wants to know what about the impact on the river and lake levels? Yes, this is a Great Lakes water level riser type storm because it's so huge, and the rivers are going out of their banks in some places too. So that's individual spots. You'll have to know that. Gene Ross coming home from Sarasota tomorrow. No, why? Stay there a month or two, but you should be okay on the travel back from Florida there. Okay, let me get back to the snow here. Grand Rapids, 3 to 5, we'll call it. Saginaw, I think we better call it 3 to 5 now. Saginaw Bay City, Midland. And as you go in the northern sections of that, Pinconning, Cuckolin, north of Midland, Sanford, you're looking at the 5, maybe 6. Would a drive from Jackson to Ohio be safe early Sunday? I think it would. Well, it would very shortly, let's say. As you get just south of Jackson, it should be okay. And yes, someone brings up a point here, Valerie. The southeastward shift has brought some places that were expected to be all rain into the ice. I've highlighted that. That's Oakland County, Livingston County, and just south of Lansing. Let's see. Alpena. Great snowmobile snow once again. I feel good for you folks that live on that snowmobiling economy. You've got a good, solid 8 to 10 inch snow up in the Alpena area. And then as you travel southeast, Flint, you're 1 or 2 inches. Lansing, you're 1 or 2 inches. Kalamazoo, you're 1 or 2 inches. Brandy, Clarkston, you're going to get into the freezing rain. You are in the ½ inch plus or minus, let's call it 4/10 to 6/10 ice accumulation, mostly in the evening and overnight, and then you get about 1 inch of snow. Traverse City, Sid to Haven, we should have a solid 6 inches in Traverse City, maybe 7. Should I go from Pinckney to Flint early Sunday morning? Check the roads. Travel tomorrow. I wouldn't get up real early thinking, hey, it's going to take me longer, get up early. No, sleep in, let them do their job on the roads, let the salt take over. Things will improve dramatically. Some sun could come out. That helps also, sun and salt on the roads. Flying to Chicago tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. and then on to Muskegon. You're fine, Ann. Storm way out. Big Rapids, Karen Larson, you're probably going to avoid the heaviest ice accumulation. You're 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. You get to sleep pretty quickly here, an inch or 2 of sleet, and you're solidly into the 4 to 6 inches of snow. Standish area, Kelly Scherer, you are you're going to get quickly to sleet, maybe 1 inch, and then you're in the 4 to 6, but I would lean more toward the 6 inches of snow by the time you're done. All righty. And let's see what else I have lined up here for you. A few more things. Okay. Go back here. Hey, I just wanted to show you some of the rainfall totals. Look at these rainfall totals so far. We're looking at almost 2 inches of rain in Paw Paw and Battle Creek and Portage, and a lot of places by Kalamazoo, southern parts of the state. You're looking at Hastings 1.81, St. John's in Clinton County 1.75 inches already, Granville 1.7. So the over 2 inches to probably over 3 inches of rain is going to verify. One other thing I want to just show you. Now, do not use this graphic, but this is the US model and its current output on snowfall. Look at how it's out. Look at how it's out to lunch. You know, and that's why we thought when this model got upgraded that it would be good, but it certainly is not. Even this far, even this close on the storm system, it appears to have snowfall amounts way overdone. So let's go back here and take some questions now. There's your morning update. Okay. And you're watching MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me this morning on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Let's see. Ice in Battle Creek, Steve Jakubiak. Yes. And yes, tonight, this afternoon, tonight, probably not a huge accumulation, 1/10 to 2/10, and then a couple of inches of snow. Tammy, how about Jackson? Okay, Jackson, you get into the freezing rain. I would say, well, some spots, some people are reporting Jackson's icy already, so it's progressing southward pretty quickly as far as that. You're probably into, you know, 1/10 to 3/10 of an inch of ice, maybe an inch of sleet, maybe an inch or two of snow. Claire, Michelle Bromley, you're into the snow, heavy snow band now. So you're in the 6 to 10 inch band after an inch of sleet coming. How much snow in Merrill, Tim Colburn? I would say Merrill that's on the west side of Saginaw County. I would say you're probably 3 or 4 inches. Ice in Homer. You got to tell me where Homer is. I'm drawing a blank there. Oakland County. Snow or rain? Cindy, Nunnery. That is a good question. Oakland County, snow or rain? Yes. Not to be a smart aleck, but you're going to have rain this morning, changing to freezing rain and sleet this afternoon quickly. And Oakland County, it looks like you get into at least the northern half. You're into the ice storm warning. So that's the 1/2 inch of ice accumulation. Southern Oakland County now probably in the 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. So yes, you have a mess, and then you get about an inch or two of snow after that late tonight. Flint to Fenton today, right now, but after that, you know, I've warned you for several days, and nothing's really changed on that. So your update this morning is that really not much has changed at all. The zones that you've been seeing the last couple of days, the zones of weather, have shifted maybe southeast about 10 miles, maybe 20 miles. So that takes some areas of Oakland County, Livingston County, south of Lansing, Jackson, puts them into the freezing rain. And it takes the northern fringes of that, Saginaw Bay City, Midland, put you more into sleet and snow. You will get some freezing rain, but not the heaviest. And it continues to just put a beeline of the heaviest freezing rain, as usually seems the case, Lansing to Flint along I-69. What about the thumb for snow? Sarah Russell. I would call the thumb snow 2 inches to maybe 3 or 4 at the tip of the thumb. Mark, here in Flushing, we have pretty strong wind gusts, and it's sleeting, a lot of water on the ground. Okay, Amy Schultz, thank you very much. Sleeting already in Flushing. That is, center part of Genesee County. So this transition is happening pretty quickly. Jody Newcomer, how about Frankenmuth? Snow and rain. Frankenmuth going to snow, or I'm sorry, Frankenmuth, freezing rain this afternoon and sleet, going to snow by midnight. I would say Frankenmuth is 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice 1 to 2 inches of sleet in the evening, and 2 to 4 inches of snow by the time it's all said and done. Monroe County, just getting rain for the most part. You could get some brief freezing rain or brief snow middle of the night, but that's about it. Kelly Eddy, we haven't talked about Ann Arbor yet. Thank you very much. Ann Arbor, mostly rain. I would say late afternoon or early evening. It'll change to freezing rain and sleet, and you might get a tenth of an inch or 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. That's where Ann Arbor now, with the shift southeast a little bit by 10, 20 miles, Ann Arbor gets into that possibility, and then the storm moves off. You might have an inch of snow after that overnight. Warren, Tim Hansen, Warren, everything you just said, you missed the beginning. Everything is shifting southeast about 10, 20 miles an hour, 10 to 20 miles. So Warren probably gets into the freezing rain, and you might inch into the ice storm warning eventually. So Warren, you'll definitely have to watch it. So there you go. That's your update. I'm going to be updating you through the afternoon and evening. Right now, I'm feeling pretty confident. Doesn't seem like things are really varying much from what they're supposed to be doing, and a meteorologist always loves that kind of situation. There we go. Oh, somebody asked about Grand Rapids, and I don't know if I really talked a whole lot about Grand Rapids. You're going to have the sleet and freezing rain here very shortly. It's out of Montcalm County, and somebody even reported in northern Kent County. And so you're freezing rain and sleet through the afternoon and evening. You're probably 2/10 to 4/10 of an inch of ice accumulation, 1 inch of sleet, and you're probably 3 to 5 solid inches of snow, because that wraparound snow looks like it's going to be a little more potent and come through the Grand Rapids. What kind of channel is MLive? A news channel? MLive is Michigan's largest state. How do we say it? How do the bosses say it? A state news aggregate site. So we have 10 or so hubs where we had newspapers, and we still have newspapers, and the reporters also break the news on MLive, and that's why you see this here. All right. Hey, thanks, Kathleen Martelli. Hey, I remember you from Saginaw. Interesting to see the difference between the U.S. model and the European. Yes, and I'm really disgusted with the GFS right now and hoping that it doesn't know something. You know, it has been upgraded, and there are some very strong strengths to its upgrade. I don't think it knows more than the rest of the models as far as heavy snowfall farther south. But I'm always nervous when I see that. I like to see all of the models agree. All right, there you go. We will keep you updated here on MLive. Maybe do another live update later this afternoon, but definitely some posts. Check your sub pump. Lots of rain. Starting to get reports of basement flooding. And stay off the roads this afternoon and tonight if you can. Tomorrow, don't be in a big hurry to start traveling. Let the storm move out very early. Let the road crews salt. Let others drive over that salt and mix it all around on the road, and then hit the roads afternoon tomorrow. Okay? Thank you for joining me. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.